Here are the 25 best open-world RPG games you can play on PS5 right now. And trust me, this list covers everything from brutal From Souls to epic fantasy adventures. Starting things off at number 1, Elden Ring continues to be one of the most talked about open-world RPGs on PS5 in 2026, and for good reason. The Lands Between is a massive interconnected world packed with secrets, brutal boss fights, and incredible build variety. With the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion added in, there is simply more content here than most people will ever fully explore, making this the gold standard for open-world action RPGs on the platform right now. Coming in at number 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition on PS5 remains the benchmark that almost every other open-world RPG gets compared to. CD Projekt Red built a living, breathing world across Valen, Novigrad, and Skellige, each region with its own identity and politics. The side quests are written just as carefully as the main story, and the PS5 version runs beautifully with improved performance and visual upgrades that make it look better than ever. Number 3 goes to Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, a game that managed to capture the beauty of feudal Japan in a way that still genuinely surprises players in 2026. Sucker Punch built a world full of wind-swept fields, bamboo forests, and coastal cliffs that feel alive at every turn. The samurai combat is fast, fluid, and deeply satisfying, and the Iki Island expansion adds hours of additional story content that makes this director's cut a definitive way to experience one of PlayStation's best exclusives. Cyberpunk 2077 earns the number 4 spot after going from one of the most troubled game launches in recent memory to one of the best open-world RPGs available on PS5. Night City is a staggeringly detailed urban playground run by corporations, gangs, and shady fixers, and the Phantom Liberty expansion added a whole new district and a spy thriller storyline that pushed the game even further. If you slept on this one at launch, now is the time to pick it back up because it plays incredibly well on PS5 hardware. At number 5, Red Dead Redemption 2 still stands as one of the most immersive open-world experiences ever crafted, and playing it on PS5 through backwards compatibility holds up remarkably well. Rockstar built a version of the American frontier that breathes and reacts to everything you do, from the way Arthur interacts with strangers to the slow rhythm of camp life. The story is emotionally heavy in the best possible way, and the sheer density of things to discover across its massive map keeps drawing players back years after release. God of War Ragnarok takes the 6th spot and delivers one of the most cinematic and emotionally resonant action RPGs on the PS5. Kratos and Atreus journey through the 9 realms to confront Ragnarok, and the story hits harder than most blockbuster movies. The combat system rewards both aggressive play and careful positioning, and the world design across each realm feels genuinely distinct. This is a game that PlayStation owners point to whenever the conversation turns to what the PS5 does best. Taking number 7 is Horizon Forbidden West, a stunning open-world action RPG that showcases what the PS5 hardware is actually capable of. Aloy's journey through the post-apocalyptic American West is packed with enormous mechanical creatures to fight, ancient ruins to explore, and a story that keeps expanding the mythology of this world in interesting directions. The combat system gives you so many tools and options for taking down machines that even familiar encounters stay fresh throughout the entire run. Baldur's Gate 3 lands at number 8 and is simply one of the deepest and most ambitious RPGs ever made, full stop. Larian Studios built a world where every conversation, every choice, and every seemingly small decision can cascade into something massive down the line. The turn-based combat rewards creative thinking, and the sheer number of ways you can approach any given situation means no 2 playthroughs ever feel the same. If you have never touched a tabletop RPG in your life, this game might just convert you. Assassin's Creed Shadows earns number 9 as one of the most polished entries in the long-running franchise, finally delivering the feudal Japan setting fans had been requesting for years. Playing as both Naoe, a nimble shinobi, and Yasuke, a powerful samurai warrior, gives you 2 completely different ways to approach every mission and encounter. The open world is dense with culture, detail, and atmosphere, and the dual protagonist system adds a layer of strategic variety that keeps the gameplay feeling fresh across a very long campaign. Coming in at number 10, Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of those games that splits opinions, but absolutely deserves a spot on any list of the best open-world RPGs on PS5. Capcom built a living fantasy world where your pawn companions react dynamically to the environment and your playstyle, and the sense of genuine discovery during exploration is hard to match. Combat is physical and visceral in a way that rewards patience and creativity, and the game's open-ended quest design means the story naturally unfolds differently for every player. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth takes the 11th spot as one of the most ambitious and content-rich RPGs released on PS5 in recent years. Square Enix expanded the world of Final Fantasy VII into massive open regions packed with side quests, minigames, and lore, building on the foundation that Remake laid down in a spectacular way. The combat system blends real-time action with strategic ATB commands brilliantly, and the relationship between Cloud and his companions gives the story an emotional core that keeps players invested through dozens of hours of gameplay. At number 12, Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 stands out as one of the most grounded and realistic open-world RPGs available on PS5, telling the story of Henry of Skalitz in a meticulously researched medieval Bohemia. There are no magic spells or fantasy creatures here, just complex social dynamics, challenging sword fighting, and a world that genuinely rewards players who take the time to understand its systems. The learning curve is steep, but players who commit to it consistently describe it as one of the most rewarding RPG experiences they have had in years. Hogwarts Legacy slots in at number 13 as one of the most commercially successful and genuinely enjoyable open-world RPGs on PS5, letting players finally live out the full Hogwarts student fantasy in the 1800s wizarding world. The castle itself is stunning to explore, and the wider map of Hogsmeade and the Scottish Highlands adds considerable variety and scale. The spell combat is fun and expressive, the character customization is deep, and the world is packed with enough secrets and side content to keep exploration rewarding long after the main story wraps up. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 comes in at number 14, and while it leans more into action-adventure territory, the RPG systems, character progression, and dual hero structure absolutely earn it a spot on this list. Swinging through an expanded New York as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales feels incredible on the PS5's DualSense, and the web wings add a completely new layer to traversal. The story tackles some genuinely emotional territory for both characters, and the combat has been polished to the point where it might be the smoothest feeling action in any open-world game on the platform. Starfield takes the 15th spot as Bethesda's massive space exploration RPG that finally arrived on PS5 in 2025 after its initial Xbox and PC release. The sheer scale of the universe on offer here is genuinely hard to describe, with hundreds of planets to land on, dozens of faction questlines to pursue, and a character build system deep enough to support multiple very different playthroughs. It draws clear comparisons to Skyrim in terms of its DNA, and players who enjoy Bethesda's particular brand of open-world discovery will find an enormous amount to explore here. Number 16 belongs to Rise of the Ronin, a PS5 exclusive from Team Ninja that drops players into a turbulent open-world version of late Edo period Japan, filled with political intrigue, samurai combat, and a surprisingly deep narrative. The game gives you real historical figures to interact with and a flexible morality system that influences how the story plays out. Team Ninja's expertise in challenging combat design shines here, and the grappling hook traversal across the game's open regions adds a pace and mobility that sets it apart from other games in the genre. Monster Hunter Wilds claims the 17th spot as one of the most exciting open-world action RPGs released in 2025, expanding the Monster Hunter formula with fully seamless open biomes that shift dynamically based on weather and ecosystem behavior. Tracking, studying, and finally taking down enormous creatures in these living environments feels more satisfying than ever before. The weapon variety is massive, the co-op is smooth and accessible, and the world itself communicates a sense of scale and ecological depth that makes every hunt feel like it matters to the broader ecosystem. Star Wars Outlaws takes number 18 as the first true open-world Star Wars game, letting players step into the boots of Kay Vess as she navigates criminal syndicates, space travel, and imperial entanglements across multiple planets.
The game captures the look and atmosphere of the Star Wars universe in a way that feels authentic, without relying entirely on nostalgia, and the faction reputation system meaningfully shapes how the world responds to your choices. Ubisoft Massive deliver a game that genuine sense of adventure and exploration that Star Wars fans have been waiting a long time for.
Coming in at 19th is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a sprawling Viking open-world RPG set across England, Norway, and beyond that packs an almost absurd amount of content into its enormous map. Playing as Eivor, you build and expand a Norse settlement while forging political alliances and navigating some of the most complex story arcs in the entire franchise. The combat has weight and brutality to it. The world design balances historical authenticity with mythological storytelling, and the sheer volume of questlines and side content keeps the adventure going for well over 100 hours. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered earns the 20th spot as the rebuilt and visually overhauled version of one of PlayStation's most beloved open-world RPGs, now running natively on PS5 with significantly improved lighting, character detail, and performance. Aloy's original journey through a world reclaimed by nature and overrun by mechanical beasts holds up brilliantly with this visual treatment. And for players who never experienced the original or want to revisit it before Forbidden West and beyond, this remaster is the definitive way to start the story. Ghost of Yotei takes number 21 as the highly anticipated sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, set in 1603 Hokkaido with a new protagonist and a revenge-driven narrative that Sucker Punch has been careful to build anticipation for. The world is larger and more varied than Tsushima, drawing from a different region of Japan with its own distinct landscapes and atmosphere. Everything that made the original great, the wind traversal mechanic, the fluid samurai combat, the emphasis on atmospheric exploration, appears to have been refined and expanded in ways that make this one of the most talked about PS5 releases in recent memory. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered slides in at number 22 as one of the biggest surprises of 2025, a complete rebuilt version of Bethesda's classic RPG that arrived without prior announcement and immediately became one of the most played games on PS5. The province of Cyrodiil has been rebuilt with modern visuals and quality of life improvements that make the game accessible and genuinely beautiful, while preserving the open-ended quest design and exploratory spirit that made the original a landmark release. For longtime fans and newcomers alike, it is exactly as good as you hoped it would be. Dragon Age: The Veilguard lands at number 23 as BioWare's long-awaited return to the Dragon Age universe, featuring a more action-oriented take on the series' traditional RPG systems, alongside a cast of companion characters that players have genuinely invested in. The open-world areas offer varied environments and dense side content, and the story escalates into some truly epic territory by the time you reach the final act. It is a big, bold, and occasionally messy RPG that rewards players who enjoy building deep relationships with their party while exploring a richly detailed fantasy world. Forza Horizon 5 takes the 24th spot as perhaps the best-looking open-world game on PS5, even if it sits at the edge of the RPG genre. Set across a stunning recreation of Mexico with over 500 cars and dynamically shifting seasons, the game's open world is a visual and mechanical showcase for the PS5 hardware. The cooperative Horizon arcade events, the progression systems, and the sheer variety of biomes and environments make exploration endlessly rewarding. And for players who want a more relaxed open-world experience, it remains in a class of its own. Rounding out the list at number 25, Final Fantasy XVI is a bold, dark, and spectacularly cinematic open-world action RPG that took the franchise in a dramatic new direction. Set in the war-torn world of Valisthea, the story follows Clive Rossfield through a saga of political betrayal, mythological gods, and devastating conflicts that play out on a genuinely epic scale. The icon battle sequences are some of the most visually staggering moments in any game on PS5, and the action combat system is fast, expressive, and endlessly satisfying for players who enjoy pushing their offensive playstyle to its limits.